Every season, the same thing happens. You want epic footage, you get excited, and you end up either overspending or buying the wrong action camera entirely. Is there an easy fix? Let's inspect.
Hi, pleasure to meet you. I'm Michael, and I actually started this channel years ago because of action cameras. So today this is not going to be a typical review. The point of this video is to be a practical, no BS guide to help you either buy the right action camera or realize that you don't even need a new one, or to save you often a lot of money. Yes, it's a fact. Most people are wasting a lot of money on new gear, and very often you don't need the latest model, you don't need crazy accessories, and you definitely don't need those 4K no-name cameras. What you need is context, realistic expectations, and a bit of strategy. So let's start with the most important decision, choosing the camera. My recommendation is very simple. Stick to reputable brands. That means GoPro, DJI, or Insta360. If you're just starting out, my golden rule is start small, start cheap, and learn what matters to you.
Buying a cheaper, even second-hand camera from a known brand makes perfect sense. These cameras hold their value surprisingly well, and the only real risk is battery health, which is manageable. Compare that to spending $150 on a no-name 4K camera with unrealistic promises. That's where money goes to die.
Because here's the reality, many of these cheap action cameras don't shoot real 4K. It is interpolated, upscale. It's like recording low-quality audio at higher bitrate. Doesn't magically become better. And the bigger issue is the software. If a brand has a solid, well-developed smartphone app, chances are that the camera is actually decent. No-name brands usually rely on generic, white-label apps, and that tells you everything. There actually are a couple of exceptions. They are smaller brands, Accessory and SJCam, which have survived through the years. But even there, I would be cautious. And if I had to choose, I would go with an older GoPro, Osmo Action, or Insta360 every single time. Now let's talk about performance, because this is where expectations usually collapse. Most action cameras look fantastic in perfect conditions. Bright, daylight, open space, plenty of light. Almost any decent camera will shine there.
But the moment you push things, shadows, forests, fast movement at 60 frames per second, reality kicks in. Footage starts to look soft, noisy, or just plain bad. And here's the key rule: if your smartphone struggles in a scene, your action camera will probably struggle even more. Newer models from DJI, Insta360, maybe the latest GoPro are improving, especially with larger sensors and AI enhancements, but physics is still physics. These are tiny cameras with tiny image sensors. So be realistic. Don't expect cinematic results in difficult lighting. That's not what these cameras are built for.
Honestly, I think we, content creators, are mostly to blame. We keep pushing this narrative, testing low light like it's the main use case. It is not. If low light is crucial to you, you're probably using the wrong type of camera in the first place. Yet, if it is crucial, I would suggest shutting off any in-camera image stabilization, reducing the sharpness, mastering the ISO and shutter controls, and using a mechanical gimbal. This is your best shot at decent low-light footage with an action camera.
Another something that people underestimate: size and weight matter a lot. The smaller and lighter the camera, the more likely you are to actually use it. Simple as that. And unfortunately, newer models are getting bigger and heavier. DJI has grown slightly. Insta360 Ace Pro Series are noticeably bulky, and personally, I'm not a fan of that trend. The good news is that we are starting to see a shift towards smaller, nano-style cameras again. And that's something I'm really happy about, because at the end of the day, the best camera is the one that you actually carry and use. Another fact, and this is probably the most underrated point, if you already own an action camera, chances are it's still perfectly usable. anything from GoPro Hero 6 onwards, that's when stabilization in 4K became really solid, is still very relevant today. Same goes for DJI Osmo Action series.
Let me give you a real example. This here is a DJI Osmo Action 2, a camera that got a lot of criticism. People complained about having inbuilt battery, about overheating, form factor, image quality, and so on. And yet, it was used in major production, including the high-speed cinematic shots in the F1 movie with Brad Pitt. So, when someone tells you that your camera is outdated, take it with a grain of salt. In real-world use, older good cameras are often more than enough. Next tip, don't fall into the accessory trap. This is where brands make serious amounts of money and where users very often overspend. You're gonna see things like super awesome macro lenses, anamorphic lenses, pro kits, and suddenly it feels like your camera is incomplete without them. Let's be honest, most people don't even know what anamorphic lens means, and suddenly you're supposed to use it for cinematic footage with an action camera? What, are you working for Hollywood studio or what? No. Here's the reality. Your smartphone is already the best secondary camera that you have. You don't need to turn your action camera into a cinema rig. Keep it simple. For most people, essentials are good enough. A helmet mount or adhesive mount, maybe a chest mount, a tripod, and a good quality selfie stick. That's all you need. Buy accessories only when you know that you need them, not because a brand has convinced you to do so.
If there is one accessory that actually makes sense, it's batteries. Having 2 or 3 spare batteries plus a power bank is a game changer, especially if you're shooting outdoors or traveling. Most bundles with a charger are usually the best value.
But here's the part where you have to be smart. Do the math. If you're about to spend $100 on extra batteries and a charger for an older model, maybe it is worth considering paying another extra and buying a much newer generation. For example, the Action 5 and the 6 can last over 2 hours on a single battery charge, which completely changes the experience. And the Action 5 costs $299 at the moment of making this video, which is a steal. So yes, invest in batteries, but don't overdo it blindly.
Of course, a quick note on 360-degree cameras, because they're getting so popular. They're incredibly powerful, especially for creative shots, reframing and capturing everything around you, but they come with trade-offs. More editing time, more storage, more app dependency, almost always with lower image quality compared to standard action cameras, and pretty much each and every drop on the ground will result in scuffing the lens or both of them. For most people, spherical cameras are not a must-have. They're cool, might be an amazing tool, but only if you actually plan to use their full potential. Otherwise, they just complicate your workflow.
Okay, now let's wrap up with a clear, decision-focused summary. If you want consistency and reliability and practical innovation, DJI is probably the safest choice right now. And no, I'm not sponsored to say it, this is based on facts. Their generation-to-generation improvements make sense. Accessories are very often compatible in between generations, and the user experience is good enough. Insta360 is extremely strong in software and creativity, and they have the best smartphone app on the market. And at the same time, they push a lot of accessories, very often unnecessary accessories, and are sometimes way too focused on marketing. Their cameras are usually a bit heavier, and battery life is not as good as with DJI, but still remain great. GoPro, still a solid but currently playing catch-up role choice. Accessories are expensive, there is less consistency between generations, still safe and proven option. As for SJ-Cam, I'd avoid at any cost unless I find an exceptional deal. And for Akaso, works pretty good for basic use, but when you compare prices, the value is often questionable next to older models from the big brands. Akaso do not engineer their products, they usually use ready white labels made by a company called HD King. And the most important takeaway, don't overthink this purchase. Don't chase specs and ghosts. Don't chase marketing. Focus on what you actually need or what you believe you need. Use what you already have and only upgrade when you clearly feel there's a limitation, not because a new model was released a few months ago or a friend told you about this new awesome 360-degree camera. That's how you stop wasting money on action cameras. If this video has helped you to make a smarter decision, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you're using and what you're considering next. And as always, thanks a lot for watching. Your support means a lot, so please consider subscribing to the channel, giving me a like, or using any of the affiliate links below, which greatly help me maintain everything here in terms of content. I'm the TechMishka. Gonna see you soon.